Hey, thanks for tuning in. As you know, I usually talk about football, and today I'm going to be talking about football, but a different kind of football. I'm going to be talking about soccer. When I woke up Thursday morning, in my inbox was an email from BBC in Glasgow, Scotland, and they wanted to talk to me about Paraag Marathe and the San Francisco 49ers investment arm. A report in the Daily Record that the 49ers are in talks to be part of a consortium or maybe just flat out ownership or investments in Rangers FC. And that is a Scottish football club, soccer club, that has fallen on some rough times. And so the 49ers now are being linked to that particular professional club. And so I took part in this interview to give a little bit of background and my thoughts on what the 49ers are looking to get out of it and why it makes sense for them. So, as a lot of you know, the 49ers investment arm, 49ers Enterprises, also has taken over ownership, complete ownership of Leeds United, the English football club there. And by the way, I do check the standings quite regularly. And in the championship division, which is one step down from Premier, Leeds is leading that division. And so they're in pretty good shape for the potential of a promotion back to the Premier League for next season. But the one thing that kind of stuck out, and I admit I don't know much about Rangers or that Scottish league, but just a little bit of research told me why the 49ers would be interested. When Parag Marathe became involved with the 49ers in 2004, 2005, in that era, the 49ers had been obviously a Super Bowl winner. They already had five Super Bowls in their trophy case, five Lombardi trophies in their trophy case. And then they were going through some times with salary cap hell. We all remember that. Some financial mismanagement, and that the organization was going through kind of a complete overhaul in the sense that, there was a change in ownership and the York family was involved now, and Parag Marathe came in, kind of an outsider in the football world. But over time, I think he's developed a really good reputation around the league for his handling of the salary cap and everything else. So he looked at it from the sense of 49ers, a once proud franchise that going through some rough times. How do they get back on their feet and rebuild that momentum and maybe even latch on to the history of the organization to help them build back to where they are. Now, obviously, the 49ers haven't had a Super Bowl championship since, what was that, January of 1995. But recent history, well, the 3 years with Jim Harbaugh going to the NFC Championship game, including one Super Bowl, the last 8 seasons with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan in charge of the football operations, how the organization has turned around, and throw out or I should say, before this 6-11 season of 2024, the 49ers had been one of the gold standards in the NFL as far as just the consistency of going to four NFC Championship games, two Super Bowls. Obviously, fan base would like to see another Super Bowl in that trophy case, another Lombardi trophy, but it hasn't happened yet. So I remember a couple years ago doing a story on the 49ers involvement with Leeds, and they've since taken over complete ownership of Leeds. And one of the things that I learned during that time was that they felt that there was a lot of similarities going with Parag Marathe running the football side of it. He's been the salary cap, chief negotiator for quite some time, and the salary cap guru. And then he takes over at Leeds, and there was that thought with Leeds of great, rich history, gone through some kind of financial ruins, and then Parag Marathe and the 49ers come in to make good business decisions and try to kind of slowly build that organization up to a point where they can remain in very good financial standing while also trying to maintain some level of consistency. So we'll see how that goes. When I learned about the Rangers Football Club and the 49ers involvement in that, and by the way, I've been told that that report a little bit premature, but I mean, clearly there's something going on there with the 49ers involvement. And why would Rangers be a investment opportunity that the 49ers would find attractive? Because of those similarities. The 49ers going through some rough financial times, trying to build up. Leeds going through some rough financial times, trying to build up. And the Rangers, who have been in kind of in financial ruins and have taken a complete backseat to Celtic, their rival club there in Scotland, trying to build that thing back up. So obviously, I think the 49ers see an opportunity for growth, to make a lasting investment in the ability to turn maybe a sleeping giant back into becoming a powerhouse. So that's why the 49ers involvement with Rangers, although obviously I wasn't expecting it, hadn't heard anything about it, but when that news came out Thursday morning and I got the message from BBC, it was pretty easy initially to connect the dots and see why that would be something that the 49ers would be interested in. Now, probably the big question for people in Scotland and fans of Rangers, are these just outsiders coming in looking to make an investment? I will say this. I mean, I have watched a Leeds game with Paraag Marathe, and there is a lot of passion there. And, seeing him pace around during the course of a match and living and dying with every episode in the course of a game was kind of fun to see. And he told me at some point that he puts just as much energy and passion into the soccer team as he does the football team. Um, Paraag Marathe has done a lot and has worn a lot of different hats since becoming a member of the 49ers organization. And so I think the one thing that he was able to do with football a little bit is look outside the box. He's not, a lifelong football guy. He doesn't come from that lineage. I think a lot of the old school football guys initially kind of scoffed at the idea of Marathe coming in, but now you look around the NFL, and I think the league is jam packed with a lot of people who kind of fit that same profile, including the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles with Howie Roseman running the football side of that organization. So yeah, I think transitioning to soccer, the 49ers, Paraag Marathe tries to look at it with a fresh set of eyes, thinking outside the box. The analytics part of it too. So a lot of different lessons learned, I think, through trial and error in American football can also translate in a different way to the soccer side of the 49ers. So we'll see where that goes. But um, again, the parallels are once proud organizations, a lot of success, a lot of history, a lot of tradition, and falling on rough times and trying to build it back up to where it once was. So, from that standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. And I can see what the 49ers are thinking in seeing an investment opportunity with Rangers FC. One other thing on the business side is that Bloomberg reported earlier this week via Sports Business Journal that the 49ers are exploring the possibility of selling a 10% stake in the team. And the report says that it's based on a valuation of the 49ers of $9 billion. And so that would be a 10% stake of that would be $900 million that the 49ers are considering selling. And the report didn't really say or speculated that just didn't really know whether it was going to be seeking private equity firm or other investors wealthy individuals or families. That was unclear. And so the 49ers would be falling in line, I think, with some other teams who are looking or exploring selling minority stakes in the team, including the New York Giants, Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, Eagles, um, Raiders, all according to that report, trying to generate some high dollar amounts by selling off a minority stake. So the 49ers right now, as of a year ago, Jed York, who had been the CEO, is now the principal owner of the team. If you missed that, and that happened during the owners' meetings and was approved at the owners' meetings a year ago. And Jed York said at that time, when I talked to him, that the York family owns 97% of the 49ers. And the reason he was made the principal owner of the team prior to that, his mother, Denise DeBarlo York, and his dad, John York, were co-chairs. But what he said was he kind of pointed to like family squabbles when it comes to ownership. And there have been some very notable family squabbles in the NFL with the Saints, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Titans. But what he said was, in making this switch where Jed became the principal owner of the 49ers, he said it's a much more long-term family planning thing, making sure the team stays in the family for generations to come. So clearly, the Yorks um, do not intend to sell the 49ers anytime soon. They anticipate keeping the 49ers in the family for a long, long time. However, the report is that they're looking to sell some of that stake, that 97% stake in the 49ers franchise. So we'll see where that goes. Kind of curious because I don't know a whole lot. I really didn't know anything about Leeds until the 49ers became involved. But what I found out is that Leeds has a very strong fan base and a lot of Leeds fans in the Bay Area. And I was asked the question from BBC in Glasgow, whether there are Rangers fans here and whether those fans are excited about the possibility that the 49ers could become involved in owning their team. And so I'm curious. My answer was I would suspect there is. I think the question was also about, are 49er fans talking about this? Well, it happened so early in the day that I generally don't think that fans of the 49ers um, necessarily become Leeds fans or are all that interested in what the 49ers have going on across the pond in soccer. But I also think that there is some kind of overlap of football traditions and soccer traditions, and there are a lot of hardcore soccer fans in the Bay Area, and obviously with the World Cup coming to America in 2026 and Levi Stadium hosting a game or multiple games during the World Cup. This is kind of fits in with the 49ers investment plan as far as trying to capitalize on the momentum of the World Cup by branching out and potentially acquiring another football club in Europe. So anyway, curious about local or fans in the United States, what their allegiance is in Scottish football, and what your thoughts are as far as the 49ers, the potential of them owning Rangers. So a little bit different of a YouTube on this day as we talk about soccer and not necessarily football, but always interested and curious to hear what you have to say on that topic. So thanks so much for watching, and that is it for now.